Okay, sorry. So this is Friday. This is your Black Financial Economic News. Thank you for joining me. My name is Tiara Mack, and I am your financial guru. Let's get started on our biggest thing this week, our stocks. We did really good. So our stocks overall were up between $2 and a couple cents, just depending on where it went. So let's start with our NASDAQ stocks. Axum Therapeutics, $66.49. Global Blood Therapeutics, $44.02. They actually went up, of course, I think it was about $8 in the last couple of days. Last couple of weeks. Broadway Financial Corp. When I first started talking about them, they were under $2. They were like $1.40, $1.90 maybe. They closed today for this week for $3.01. Urban One, the news, Radio One, News One, everything like that, they closed at $5.80. That's up 35 cents since the first time we started talking about them about 2 weeks ago. And their other stock is $1.73. That's actually up 50 cents. Carver Bank Corp, $11.35. So they kind of broke even, but they still ended up on the green side. And Bling Identity Holdings, $22.95. They didn't really go up much, but that's 20 cents is still something in the last couple weeks. And then we have the ones that's on the New York Stock Exchange. American Shared Hospitals, $2.67 up. That's up as well, pretty good, and it's a pretty cheap stock, $2.67. We have a real estate investment trust, RLJ Lodging Trust, $66.86. They are up as well. And lastly, our penny stocks. Now these actually, I started off saying we have 10 stocks that we can trade. Now I found 3 more. So those are Sycamore Entertainment, 5 cents. Like, you do worse with 5 cents any other day of the week. MNF Bank, $6.50, another penny stock. Industrial Bank, $36. Now that one I want to keep an eye on for sure, because I'm trying to figure out what they need to do to cross over into the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. Because $36 as a penny stock, I'm trying to figure out what regulations they need to get it together to move on to the other side. Citizens Bank Corp, $11.65, and Light Media, 20 cents. And when I first started talking about them, they were 16. So we did it good. We were on the green side. We were on the green side this week. So, but this week we're actually going to get into talking about black banks when we do our feature story. But let's get into our top story, which is Twizzler. I'm sorry, not Twizzler. Triller. I keep saying it wrong. Triller and Verzuz. And this was an important story because this is where money actually starts to get exchanged. So, what is Triller? It's an actual app that's like TikTok, but they have the licensings to actually put like music up without any licensing problems, because they are partners with, or their shares are purchased by Sony, Warner Music Group, and Universal. And they also partner with Apple and Spotify. So they're not on the stock market yet, but I'm watching them. They are definitely going to get an IPO soon. They're going to go public. And the reason why I'm saying they're going to go public is because their partnership with Verzuz. So back in 2000, last 2 years, when TikTok got in trouble with Trump, whatever that little battle was, and people couldn't use TikTok anymore. So India banned TikTok, and then we had our little issue over here. Now Triller has now 100 million subscribers. I've never heard of the company until now, but I'm watching them as a streaming service. I can see them starting to charge for these versus battles, or I can see them starting to do concerts, or things like Coachellas and things like Made in America. I can see that this is going to go far. With the partnership with Timberland and Swiss Beats, they all got their own shares in the company, which is good. And they also have managed their marketing team, well, their management team. So all of the artists and things that's going to come in, it's going to come in through Timberland and Swiss Beats. So you want to keep that in mind, because they've already started talking to doing their boxing. They did the conference after the boxing with, what's his name? Mike Tyson, when they had their fight, they broadcasted it on their platform. So I can see whenever they go public, it's going to go like $86 to maybe $110 opening up. So if you're thinking about, putting your money aside, they haven't announced it yet, but I know that's coming. That's one of the ones that I'm actually keeping my eye on for sure. And the people that did the Verzuz back when for the free, they all got stock in this company as their pay for doing it free. So sometimes it takes time. Volunteer your services. You never know what you're going to get on the back end. Then our next story, which is petty, but it's important. Netflix is going to change their password sharing and all of that. They are cracking down. So they're going to start doing these double check authorizations where, let's say you broke up with somebody and you still got his Netflix on your TV. They're going to go ask him to double, give you the authorization code to go. So that's their response because they know we're all about to go outside. Summer is coming. And from this time last year until now, they had, on average, 200 million people watching at one time. So now it's not 200 million people watching at one time. We're all going outside. So that revenue stream is going to dip for them. So they're trying to figure out how to make up that difference when they went up 50% from last year. So in order to make up that difference, they're going to start making us all get our own accounts now. I'm cheap. I'm not about to get a Netflix. Somebody better figure it out. Or send me the authorization code because they're not about to get that. So that's one of our most important stories. But I want to get to our feature story for today. And then we're out of here. Black banks. Dun, dun, dun. So black banks. There's growth here. I'm going to start with that. So we have right now 41 banks and credit unions in the United States. Some of them, some people say 43, some probably say 46, but I think some of them are closing or merging or however that works. But between those banks, we have about $5 billion in all 41 banks in assets. That's a good start, but they were comparing in the articles and things I was reading, they were comparing it to big banks like Wells Fargo and JP Morgan Chase and things like that. It's kind of hard to that's like apples and oranges. Like compare us to a smaller bank. But within those 41 banks, we have 67% of the people that bank with them have their mortgages with them, their small business loans with them. So in order for us to be more sustainable, we have to keep partnering with them. And then sustainability overall. So this is what took me out when I actually started thinking about black banking. So we want to make sure in order for our black banks to be sustainable, we're first going to have to think about mergers. 41 small banks is just not a good business idea. You need 41 banks coming together. It's time to start merging and acquiring one another. If, for example, the United Bank of Philadelphia, they're technically being watched or technically owned by Bryn Mawr Trust here in Philadelphia. So they're not really owned by themselves. They have to ask Big Brother, can they do mortgages, which they cannot. Can they do this loan or do that loan? So it makes more sense right now to partner and come together, or they're going to close. This is just where we are with this banking and all. Second thing, for us to be sustainable, we have to go global. It makes more sense if we have all these Nigerians and people from Ghana, Senegalese, if we start partnering with banks over in Africa, because they always send money home, and that wire fee is expensive. Well, it's $25, but still, $25 per every Nigerian that I know will keep the bank alive. That gives you more depositors. It gives you everything you need to be more sustainable. So it makes more sense to merge and go global. If you're only thinking about America nowadays, you're going to fail. You have to think global. And then you have to think about the future. The future is Bitcoin. The future is blockchain and cryptocurrency. One thing I learned by my research, I'm taking this class at MIT, that tells me about blockchain. Kenya created blockchain. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? So how blockchain actually, or cryptocurrency came about was Kenyans were exchanging phone minutes with one another. Hey, I'll cut your hair if you pay me 20 minutes on a calling card or however that works. So instead of changing funds, they were exchanging minutes. You know, you want some jollof rice in a bowl? That's 10 minutes. And they took that and they ran with it. There were several people who tried to figure out how to do commerce online and could never figure it out. They watched Kenya and said, oh, got it. So like all things, we created. So in order for us to be sustainable for sure, we're going to have to start to think about what the future of banking really is. So So brick and mortars, like for instance, when last time I've been in a bank, if I lose my card, I just order one, use my phone. It's just different things we can do now. And all of these banks, they have to come together because they need one important thing, and that is technological infrastructure, which means they need apps. I'm not about to call you to exchange $2 if I'm in the line at the shop, right? I'm not about to, go online. I need to actually have a tangible app. In order for that to happen, and the SEC is saying for you to have a really good app, you have to have, or currency, or cyber currency, you have to have 100,000 things going on at one time, transactions. Can you do 100,000 transactions at one time? And for us, that's going to be a sustainable problem. So in order to pay for that infrastructure, stop banking alone and start working together. That's going to be the key to everything. So for sure, they got to think forward. So once you put the app there, you got to think forward. What's forward? Bitcoin lending. Visa is already trying to figure that out. MasterCard, Bitcoin lending and funding and credit, all of that is the next wave. We got to think ahead. If we start thinking about, how do we get people to come into our bank? It's not going to go well. We also have to think about small businesses that still want to charge you, or still want to use cash, or charge you 50 cents to use your card. That's just, I'm not about to pay you 50 cents to use my card. So these small businesses have to think forward because they're also going to get left behind. Square's already thinking about, when I told you about last week, Bitcoin Trust. So they're already thinking about, okay, we're going to start paying, people and title and all. They're going to pay through Square or Cash App, same company. So if I start to look forward, I can see Triller and I can see Cash App or Square coming together in order to start paying these artists, in order to start looking at these streaming services. It's all that sending checks in the mail. Those days are coming to an end. And with those things coming to an end comes jobs. And how does that hurt our community? A lot of our community work or jobs that are going to get squish, squash, and squish with the coming economy. So things like bank tellers, that job is going to go bye-bye. Bank tellers are going to go into cyber currency or blockchain mining, which is a whole different thing. So if you don't like math and you don't like science, don't know. I'm right now starting to study financial technology or fintech, and fintech in itself with blockchain is where money is going. So if you're thinking about what should I do, how should I invest, fintech, you need to look at financial technology. That is a new science that they are trying to figure out now. Regulations are coming. They have it on the books, but it's like even the politicians don't even know what they should do. It's a whole new technology. It's a whole new thought process. So all of that's going through the window because there's just no more cash, no more something called fiat currency, which just means the tangible cash that we have. That's going all the way away. And they're already projecting for that to how that's going to look. And then overall, since our job market is going to shift, you think that real estate buildings, that's going away. All these buildings that people are working from home, and people and companies want to cut down their cost. And operational costs is a good cut. I will cut it down if I'm over your business. This operation is getting cut. So the first thing they're going to do is, do we need that person to sign into the front desk? No. What they're going to start doing is protecting their servers. And how you protect servers is not by Ally Securities. Ally Securities, you're going to need a gun at this point because they want to make sure that our cryptocurrency and all our documents and our cloud sharing is protected with someone with a gun. Not the person who from high school last week and signed in on a desk. That job is going to, no, it's going to be military personnel. And with that, Master P, I'll talk about jobs. Master P wants to start an educational school or a new HBCU. Well, there's no H because North Stork, it's just BCU. And because he wants us to be more ready for these things that's coming. Good point. But I think Master P needs to just partner with an HBCU and give the money and build some buildings and we can get it done. Like, I don't understand I think he's bored with money. But with that, universities have to figure out where they're going because there are going to be a lot of universities closing. I've already started to see how they're already tweaking some things to figure out how to do enrollment online and back and forth. So universities are going to have new majors. Fintech is one of the new majors I'm seeing. Cyber currency, cybersecurity, gaming management. I did sports management, so I know gaming management was coming right after that. And then states are going to start changing their educational way they do the state system for universities. So it won't be 23 colleges within one PA state or whatever the number is. They're going to start doing what this university's for. Let's say IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania is going to do all of the marketing majors or business majors. Clarion University, State College, oh yeah, they're going to start doing all the science. They're going to start putting people like that to maximize the dollar for the state. For HBCUs, our community, what we have to figure out is how that's going to look for us. And it's going to pull away from the HBCU culture. In order for us to be sustainable, we need to go to the federal government and say no more state colleges for HBCUs. It needs to be federally funded, part of our reparations package, federally funded, and we need them to become one system. HBCUs have to become one system where we can autonomously do what we need to do in order to empower our people. With the autonomy of HBCUs and autonomy of our banks, we can do more. We have, like I said, $5 billion is a start, but if we start actually mobilizing the way we need to at a faster rate, we'll get there. And offering things like certifications in fintech, like going now to college, if you don't come out with certification, you kind of wasted some things. And then overall, what I say is, if we start working together as a community with the stocks I mentioned and that's did really good this week, our banking that's coming out stronger, we work together, we stay together, we start working alone, we will be a stronger community. So with that, thank you for joining me for my Black Financial and Economic Friday news break. This is Tiara Mack, your financial guru. I hope to see you next Friday. Please like, please share, subscribe, all those things. Have fun. I hope you learned something. DM me if you have any questions. Have a good one.